Boom. Ha ha! It worked on time. Ha 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 ha. It worked on time. La 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 da 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 da. Oh boy. So this do efficiency. Bump bump ba da bum bum. Alright, let's get rid of all of these things that I don't need. Hello, 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 hello. Alright. Anywho. Sorry, I'm cleaning some things. I'm assuming that is related to that, so we're just gonna leave that. I like money. I like money. Well, it's because based on this, I see the friggin'. I see it, and I don't like it. I thought I fixed this. There's that fixed now. Haha. Okay. But yeah, hello, 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 hello. Sorry. I was putting everything together. I don't even know what the I stopped at this point. What the frick happened here? I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of Fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it, that's the only explanation. Okay. Well, not at all. Ha, you're so funny, you're so very, very funny. In the... well, first of all, that you have to be more specific. It depends on the food. Because food, like if it's something like ice cream, no. If it's more, was it something that was in packaging? Like there's many different questions that come into play when it comes to stuff like that. Oh yeah. Anywho. Not at all, though it is a little strange to be honest. I'm not late, you're late. Something solid? I don't know, I guess it depends on your judgment. Because a solid one is a little bit more likely to be, like, more reasonable than something like ice cream. Because, you know, ice cream is more of a liquid, stuff like that. I'm getting into freaking too many semantics now. Golly. Anyway, why don't you have a lawyer? I mean... Well, I don't know the whole context, so I don't know how clean your floor is. How's that? That's the answer. I don't know how clean your floor is. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry? Did he just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Bork von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Like the ring gives detailed answer. Quick answers doom a lot of us. Yeah. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, hello. As you can tell, I sound 10 times better than I did before. Oh yeah. Remember how I talked about how we're gonna have an interesting prosecutor that kind of reminds you of Edgeworth, but is a little bit more crazy? Yes, this is Lord Bork von Zeeks. I think he's one of the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I didn't hear nothing now. Well, hey, if you didn't notice, then that's not a problem. I'm still dealing with allergies, but a lot better than I have been. Oh boy. Well, you have to see him before we even get there. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Van Zeke stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned to meet him first. What? So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Borg von Zieks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Very aggressive is one way to say that. Talented ain't the word you're looking for, ma'am. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? What do you mean, Maya? Maya's a little bit more higher pitched. More like this, I guess.
The defendant is summoned and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom.
The trial is about to begin. His counsel, that would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, Bella, don't you let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I'd made up my mind, so I had. Dropped off to a trial right away. Yep, we're going right in. And we have no information except for that it's a murder. Great way for our test. If that we should be able to take the frickin' what is it? The wording that I can't remember. Taking over for Cosma for the lawyer exchange program, I guess. You mind? He really is British, I guess. Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you'd made an appearance. Student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. They're in British land after all. That is true. So don't get cold feet now, please. Well, yeah, his life's on the line. Literally. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruto? The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yeah, something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen.
Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you are late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand.
I'll be right there. Oh boy! It's happening then. From the last stream was Chief Justice. Well, that's where we ended, yes. But yeah, that's where we ended last. So, you know, he's the one who gave us this case, and this is pretty much a trial for this, to go on this, to be here in Britain. This is to prove ourselves. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. He tickles my fancy. Who, the Chief Justice? Or McGugan? I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. You got me! It's Chisato, so I guess that's something. I guess. Alright, let us see the beard. I'm ready for the beard. That is the judge. 18th of February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. It's not for you. Don't worry, you have plot armor. Oh, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. This is new. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Oh, what a great time to do a first trial in the highest court of Great Britain with 6 people to stare at us. To mark down the person that we're defending's future. Cheers! I have no idea. I'm assuming it was back then. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruto? I think that is the jury? I guess it's possible, but they have faces. Like, defined faces. They never have defined faces in Ace Attorney. Let's go from English to Scottish. He was never... He was more Irish, but I guess if that's how you want to see it. It gives him something different than whatever I'm going to be doing. Ah! Oh, yes, what? Maybe? I don't know. I just would be surprised. Because I'm assuming these are where the, jury, or... Well, no, the peanut gallery. So they may be a jury. I guess that is possible. Because the peanut gallery is the one outside. Because we never really deal with, like, a trial by jury before. I think in the Ace Attorney franchise. So I guess they could be a jury. Voices in, like, 2 accents. Let her be... Gosh. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh, there he is. Here's the beard. The second beard. He looks like Santa Claus. Oh boy. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. McGuggus McGild. I will now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Well, he looks like Edgeworth. Like, look at the hair. Look at the way that he parts his hair and the way things are. He reminds me of Edgeworth. I'm not saying they're the same. But yeah, this is Van Zeek's. That's literally Dracula. I guess if that's how you want to see him. You haven't even seen his eyeballs yet. He looks just as edgy. I don't know what I want to do for this one. The prosecution is prepared. That must be the Raper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Make him have deep voice. I can attempt. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for stopping by. Golly. Huh? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. The deepest I could go for the vocal range? Hello? Hello? Something like him? Just give him Edward's voice. You know, something like that. That's at least what I was going to do. But he asked if... Well, he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. There we go, here's his full face. See, I told you he looks kind of like Edgeworth. Those are... Oh my... Oh boy, I gotta deal with this. Those eyes please me, Nipponjis. Nipponjis? It'd be funny to give him Gumshoe's voice. No, I don't think I can do a Gumshoe voice right now. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh, cold shiver just ran down my spine, all the way to the tips of my toes.
You're asking the wrong person.
Now, Mr. McGild.
Yes, my lord?
You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You will be sent to the gallows if found guilty.
Yep, he is very... I told you he was some... You could see Miles in him. I'm not saying he is Miles, he is similar to Miles.
Are you quite sure you wish to address your defense to this foreigner?
Well, what other hope does he have, Judge? Are you going to give him a lawyer? As I've always said, my lord, this grand thing to give opportunity to the young. Even if the fella is stolen from some little island off in the Far East. It is not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud.
Mr. Gitticuddy! What a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please maybe go and play in Miss McGill Park. It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGill.
He is apparently... He's a rich man, from my understanding. I don't think they really gave an occupation. Philanthropist. There's his occupation. Willy Wonka. He's a capitalist. Okay, everybody. He's got Batman money. Ah, no. Philanthropist. Private is good physical of willpower. Whatever. Capitalist in the old sense, meaning investor. Well, yeah, I'm assuming so. He got his name in McGill Park, so obviously he paid a huge donation to have his name in the park. Her job doesn't require the use of voice. Huh? Not really. Hang in there. Oh, thank you. I have cough drops with me, so my voice I think will be fine. And pub care is by Mr. McGill. Oh, you want to check his? You want to see the his equivalent? Alright. Baroque von Zeeks. Just up as Batman and just went too hard one night. A prosecutor known as the Reaper of the Bailey, supposedly the souls of those he prosecutes are eternally damned, one way or another. But yeah, see how he kind of looks like Edgeworth when you see it from this? Doesn't he kind of look like him? He's got that Edgeworth face for sure. See? I told you, I don't know if they're related, but he looks like it. What, do a Batman impression? You're asking him. I'm Batman. That's the best, that's the lowest I can go, man. You're asking a lot of me. I'm still sick. Poor Gotham. That's definitely welcoming news. He certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Well, that tells you how scary Bark von Zeeks is. Oh boy. Not enough raspiness. Until my kiss.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGillied.
and most deplorable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
Why couldn't he get a lawyer? Because everyone's scared of Von Zeeks. Because he's got a legend around him that he's cursed. Point is, if you go up against him, you're allegedly cursed. So yeah, you were right, Lou. Cowards. Yeah, I guess. You need to get a spot him. But yeah, I thought about it. I was like, wait. Because I said earlier that the chairs that we see behind, like, Susato and Ryanosuke is probably where the people would sit, but this is a private trial, so we don't see the peanut gallery. This is like an actual jury, like the first time ever in the Ace Attorney franchise to have a jury. Okay. By the way, why is he allowed to hold a knife in the courtroom? Did the jury having their own faces and personality? That is true. It was like an Ace Attorney. The peanut gallery doesn't have faces. They have the same face and make the. Yeah, it could be fake. That doesn't matter. It shouldn't look like a weapon inside of a courtroom. I'm surprised they let this. Oh, I'm in the way. Here's the old lady. They let her have knitting needles in here too. This does not help. But yes, there's an old lady here that I was hiding. Sorry, Miss Old Lady. That's you? Wow. It's equality? What do you mean, equality? He's got a knife, and she's got knitting needles that could hurt someone. I think these are both bad ideas. Like, this guy's got a freaking horseshoe that could be used as a weapon on his head. Technically, the rose, if it is a real rose, could actually be a weapon. I don't know what she has. She has books, which you could hit someone with a blunt object. So I don't know why they decided any of this was okay. But that's just me. Why they let them have one? Well, to be fair, remember, we're back in the time. So it's okay to just have just him twirling a knife around? Partial parting. She has glasses, those could be a weapon too. Yeah, I guess you could see it that way, but even then, I'm just like, well, at least glasses, you could have the excuse of she needs them to see, so, you know. That's an intimidation tactic. Okay. Alright. Oh, great, now I gotta think of more freaking voices. Yes, me lord, if the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here will soon be wishing they weren't and never set eyes on me. Yes, the confidence. Ain't it great? Oh, it's a typewriter, it's not a book. And he's drinking. What the frick is this courtroom jury? You feel a chill. I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must be finishing these mittens for my grandson.
Great, we got a... What isn't allowed in this courtroom? We got a knife thrower, we got lady knitting, we got someone drinking, and someone typewriting. I guess.
Oh, Mr. Naruto, these people are...
The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet.
That's right, I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors.
For the granny, that's a yes. They should take their clothes off. They could be... That could be whooped too. For the granny, that's a yes. My gosh. Is that mittens? It looks like a shirt.
The judge passed his sentence. The judge passed a sentence according to law, but the jurors determined guilt based on common sense.
Here's what I found. You can carry a small that doesn't lock under 3.5 inches with no reason. You can carry a small pocket knife that doesn't lock under 3.5 inches with no reason.
So the defendant is ultimately judged from two completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? Based on the evidence? That doesn't look like a pocket knife, though. It's not. It don't look like it. It doesn't flip. He hasn't, like, moved it back and forth. So you would assume it would close it open.
That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes. Goodness. Prosecutor Van Sykes. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounce your fame. I might say it's pretty big for a knife. Yeah, I don't think he needs it in the courtroom. Oh, look, see, there's the peanut gallery. Look, they are here. They're just really overshadowed. What the frick? In the Japanese courtroom, we could actually see faces. We just see hats. I am known as the Reaper of Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstances of which the court should be aware? I can't get over it. So it's a veteran versus a beginner. Correct. I'll leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today, of all days, to make a comeback? You got the wrong game. I think they need you back at Castlevania. I don't think he has long enough hair for that.
Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruto.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this case is of overwhelming simplicity. Is it now? Wait, Van, where could I have possibly heard that name? If you mean Von Karma, it's possible. I don't know if he's... I guess he could be related to Van Zeeks. I guess so. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. Oh, look! The incident took place in the late evening 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason. Sorry, Thrice? Yeah, they do act very similar. I guess I just never thought about it. Or I'm like... it's just because all I see is Edgeworth. I guess he could be related to Von Karma. They are drama queens. But he definitely... Well, Edgeworth got a lot of his, like, poise from his, mentor. Whatever the frick. Manfred Von Karma. Goodness, I can remember his name. I can't believe he was only in one case and I still remembered his name. I think arrogance runs in the family, if he is related. I don't know if he is. It's definitely possible. Since Phoenix has no... Naruto. Doesn't have Naruto as his last name, so... anything could happen. Manfred? Yes, his name's Manfred. He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible.
The poor man's hat he could get a new hat. Oh. Yeah, and I also just recalled, I think a knife is the least dangerous one we've seen in the court compared to a whip. Yeah! I think they're on the same level.
The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death.
And we get colored paper of the images of the case? Does it look familiar?
Here's the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard.
Kneeling juror right there, and the victim got stabbed with a knife. Yep. Uh-huh.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
The autopsy report has been entered in the court record. Cause of death is internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab wound to the abdomen. Photograph of the victim taken on the omnibus. The knife is in his abdomen is clearly visible, but his face is partly obscured from view by an old crooked hat. Weirdly specific.
And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are... Good Lord! Is that blood, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene.
Hiding in plain sight tactic? Maybe.
These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? What? What was it? What? What? Mr. McGill's gloves had blood on them? Oh boy, what a great start. Sounds like Edra. Yep.
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
Leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. There is a bloodstain on the right glove. Is he right-handed? I guess that's the question. Is Mr. McGulley right-handed or left-handed? Since we're just talking about specifics? Because if he's left-handed and he stabbed the victim, it would make no sense for the blood to be on the right hand. We'll see if that comes into play. Keep that in mind. How did I get into this? I backed into a corner before I've even started. Gotta ask him directly. That is true. It might be pretty cool. Yeah, because it specifically is on the right one and not on the gloves, so it's just something interesting to keep in mind.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGill.
Do you see how he's similar, even though he does like a slight you see the resemblance with Edgeworth. It's weird. Also, he's got a scar that I just realized. I thought those were wrinkles. Nope, that's a scar on his head. Oh, and they just are called jurors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do you need him? What do you mean?
Well, rather than damning circumstances, to say the least.
Edgeworth and Van Kammer with this dude. Yeah, it's like, he looks... You could see... If you said to me that they were related, I would believe it. If that was fact. Whipped to the face by... What the frick?
Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course I have no of course I have no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGill.
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always come to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Wilton, so it is, and when I open my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I never laid eyes on before in me life.
Karma so Van Zeke's being an ancestor of the Karma family. Yeah, that's the thing. Because, yeah, we all know Edgeworth was raised by the Von Karmas. Specifically, Manfred. So we know that the mannerisms, because when you saw that one trial, you can see the snapping, the movement, the... like that type of noise, and the hand movement. You can just say, like, you know where he grew up and where he learned everything. So yeah, it would make sense. Sound like a British last name either, so he might be from the area that the Van Karmas are too. Well, yeah, since she was raised in Germany, and Germany's not too far from England, it's a little bit, but not too far.
Now I ask you, what good heart soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? Reached out to give the man a hand.
Okay, so we're going to have to believe, Mr. McGill. You were asleep. The man next to you was stabbed. So then you decided to touch the blade with your gloves. There's no Larry equivalent? I don't think there is. That I know of, there shouldn't be. But Larry existed from somewhere. So the blood got onto the gloves then after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
What? That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
Oh, boy! It just keeps getting worse. Kind of Larry coded, but at least Larry's self-aware when he's not being delusional. You're gonna tell me Herlock and Larry are related? That would be funny. I don't know how that would work, but yeah. Order! Order! Order!
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It is the nail in the coffin for the accused.
I'm just slightly disappointed to not listen to the finger point going out. He's doing a slow point. If they did, something must have happened since Larry didn't get the best genes of his ancestor. Necessary, but they might just fill some roles. I would hope so, because I'm going to be like, how the frick did Harlock's genes end up in Larry's gene pool? I would be so curious if that was true. It'd be like, so how did this come about? How did this happen? Because it's only like 2 generations? 2 or 3 generations? So it's not been that long. So something has to have frickin' happened. 3 generations? Yeah, so something had to have happened. It's something in those generations where things would have changed.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear the testimony from these witnesses, first of all.
Okay, well, thank you for actually being reasonable and listening to the testimonies before you just say, oh, I'm ready to deliver a verdict. Is there? I guess.
Your wish is your command.
Oh, there it is.
Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once.
There it is. That's what I wanted.
Someone's cold. What the?
What are these witnesses? They all have top hats.
Witnesses, your name and occupation.
My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. They're distinguished gentlemen, I guess. Is this a gentleman? Is this what a hat does for a gentleman? Use foreplay. I'm a banker in the city.
Voices. I don't know.
My name's Lady First. I make hats for gents.
Yep.
Let's begin by confirming the facts.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm just like trying to think of something.
3 days ago, at the short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident.
I don't know. Was deadly in there. Yeah, yeah, that's how the Mad Hatter came into existence. That was his inspiration.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What, right?
Yes, sir, that's right, sir.
Very well, then let's proceed to our formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Oh, fancy. What the witnesses saw. No, it's ladies first. So, lady, like lady. So, like, Lady, lady first is the pun on his name. So, like, ladies first. That's what it is ladies first. That's what it is. So, ladies first. It's just the way, you just have to say it all together and it makes sense. Ladies first.
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him was sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. And then I saw two.
Well, speaking of the whip, look, it's here.
Well, Francisca? Are you here? I don't see you, but there's a freaking whip in the courtroom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah? Unambiguous testimony, I must say.
Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
Another normal name out of the three.
Yeah.
Yep. It's part of his job. Yeah, but why would you bring it in here? Like, the same thing with the frickin' typewriter, the flask, and the knife. Why are we bringing all these random items into the courthouse? I thought this was sacred. But I guess we have Cosmo's sword, and Van Zykes has his sword, so I guess everything's off the table.
Goodness. I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, Counsel?
To bring your sword out in Britain, I guess. In this time period, maybe. Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, that incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
It has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, I'm kind of license for that. How could these two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. He's not been to Britain before today, so you can't blame him. Okay.
How quaint. I'd read that civilizations in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own.
Someone brings, I guess.
But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
First day in Britain. Give him some slack. Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you ever traveled in an omnibus?
No. Well, no. Well, we only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for all of us to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How? Did he just did he get the bus to move here?
Carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much.
Cowboy type? Oh boy. Well, we've already had a cowboy type appear in court. He never brought, like, a weapon. If you remember back during the first game, in the final case. Yes.
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building.
Here? What? What? the entire carriage? How did you get it in the building?
Bailiff? Bring forth the strucken omnibus.
Type of stereotypes in the court. I don't know if the Cowboys oh my gosh, they got it in the door. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I don't know if cowboys existed in Britain. That's a whole different thing. Maybe this door? I'm assuming this is the only reason they got it through the door. We've already questioned a parrot, so questioning an omnibus makes sense. We're not questioning an omnibus, we're looking at the omnibus. It can't talk. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is the door. So that's my only guess. But in that time period, I don't know. I don't really know. That would be a good question. If anything, they would be in, like, the west. So more, like, in the southern area. Maybe a crane? You think cranes exist? How did they put it in here? They're gonna take off the roof?
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and carry up to 8 passengers.
And that tiny thing? Oh, so up here. Wow, that thing is huge. Well,
Well, cranes can be old, but you're gonna tell me they took off the roof of the courtroom to shove this thing in here? I don't think that's what buildings are meant to do. Yeah, that's fine, but do you think that Great Britain had the top of the courthouse pulled off to be able to put this in would make even less sense than it coming through the doorway?
4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus.
Oh yeah, there's the seats.
And I should point out to our foreigner guests that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
But why were they looking down?
Wait, yeah, how did they carry it all the way in here? Yeah. That is also another thing. How high up is the courthouse? Do forklifts exist yet? Of course not. They're still using the horses. So engines aren't invented yet. When do you think a forklift is going to exist?
Job Masters London head office. Huh. Skylight. Oh.
They turned it sideways. I don't know if that works either.
The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. This is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight.
Ugh. That makes perfect sense, I guess, but why were they looking down? That becomes the question of, you're saying they're looking at you're looking at the views, why are you looking down? I think they were made in 1917. Yeah, but still then, even if you put a forklift, how are you gonna fit a forklift plus this omnibus into the courthouse?
And it's 10 to 11 p.m. Put it together back inside again. That I could believe. That I would actually believe. So, it's 10 to 11 p.m. at night. Why are they looking down into the carriage for? Is the light on? Like, this is... I guess there's a light in here, but was the light because they had to take the picture? I'm just kind of curious. Something more important than the actual case. I guess so.
Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years up behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime itself being brought into the courtroom.
Door of the courtroom seems big enough to fit the omnibus. That's what I said.
There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish.
So he's bald like the other judges.
Very well, I see no reason why not.
And they're pieces, puzzle pieces. Oh no, I'm not an engineer.
This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
As added, the 8-seat omnibus that was the scene of the crime, there were passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof deck that night. I can't believe it, the entire crime scene entered as evidence? I don't think duct tape existed in this time period.
Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary.
If that's how you want to see it, I think it's a little much. I can't help myself. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Glue then? I guess.
Let us continue with the proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel.
Sorry that his voice is slightly changing.
Pray don't expect this Nippon-ese stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights.
Excuse you? Just because he doesn't know what an omnibus is doesn't mean he doesn't know law. So, shush. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryanosuke. Focus. This is in 1943, that's what it says. Huh. He also doesn't know law, to be fair. He studied a month on the ship. It's been a month since since the death of Cosimo, so, you know. He should know at least a good chunk by now. He's been studying for a month. Daily. Wow, a month. A simpler time, better times. But it takes more time, you know. I know, but you know what I mean. He probably knows more than the average person, so it's at least a little bit better. I'm not saying it's great, but he's got a month of experience. What the witnesses saw. Okay. So I had a few customers I remember it well. Like the basics? I don't know. I'm not Susato. They just learned, so I don't know. Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, that's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold. It was, sir, freezing, in fact.
It's illegal. What do you mean? And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though, no.
They added... Oh my god. This is a rated T for teen. What do you mean, children's game?
And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. You're quite right there, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then?
I have to say the boss insists on it running. He does every evening, that last bus of the day.
Please take him to a hospital. Yeah, he's really cold.
But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
I see why it's rated T. Yes. All the Phoenix Wright series has been rated T for teen. What do you mean by that?
Well, with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pits on a run, you see. Yes, I spend that much at the pub on the way home just to try to warm up again.
Oh, the poor man. The victim and the man, blah, 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 blah. The T for teeth. And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage?
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on the side, so I had a pretty good view.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that's a... So they were sitting... My brain has to visualize this, so okay. They're here, so he's here, sitting. So his feet would be like here, 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 here. Hello, cat. So they were sitting facing these guys. Huh.
Two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGill.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGill is a gentleman of rather small stature. Couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGill.
Doesn't that make him a possible suspect? Who, the ones being able to see? Like, who do you mean in particular as a suspect?
There's no room for doubt here.
Ugh, I really wish there was. You're not a suspect, Cat. You weren't in this tiny little carriage. Now, the blue, the accused just jump over anyone who was close to the victim. Well, I guess technically, but they were on the outside, so I guess the question just then becomes... if someone outside the carriage did it, how would they do that? You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify to that?
How do you know? What if I was the carriage? Because the carriage is in the courtroom right now.
Or a fair, drunken, hardworking city banker's not considered trustworthy these days.
They did it, that's my theory. Well, that's the assumption, yes. The victim got stabbed accidentally when the omnibus stopped, the passengers recoiled and crashed into each other, and the pocket knife went into the victim. Yeah, but they're up top, so I would have to ask, how did it get through the glass then, since the glass isn't broken? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... My lord.
Juror number 3, what is the meaning of this?
With enough force.
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what? Magic? Are you guys stealing my catchphrase of it was magic? It was just magic. Yeah, great. I don't like the stickin' rich, never have.
They're always up to something or other than they shouldn't be.
Every one of them. You saying that, but you're also very well dressed and you got a gem, so you're at least very well off, and you have a nice pristine knife, so I'm assuming you're very rich. What do you mean? It's not yours. I said it. What do you mean? What the? Fire. Why is there fire? Why is there fire? Huh?
And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
It was actually said first by John McMagic back in 1899. It's before you started to use it. Oh my gosh, so you two stole it. I never said I invented the word. I think that's their equivalent for a buzzer. But where did they light it? He had no match, so where the frick did it come from? That's not safe. That's not safe. Oh my gosh, now you're just gonna use that now? My gosh.
There's no point wasting time listening to any of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway.
All that
is precisely what I was about to say.
Oh, come on!
The form of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
Are you for... You have heard nothing! What the... What is happening here? Are they that bored? Are you sure that these guys are impartial? This guy literally just said because Mr. McGold is a leprechaun, so he can't trust him. You sure that's impartial? I have many questions on what they consider impartial.
Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts.
So it acts as their buzzer in their voting system for the verdict. Yep. With fire?
Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago.
It's McGill. What do you mean? So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean...
Let's do do our best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Ugh, now I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well, the court acknowledges the change in this jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare. Well, I'm almost tempted to say Mr. McGillicuddy. I don't know why. From a show, so that's where my brain is going. I'm like, that's not his name.
Hold it!
That's why. He stabbed him, you say, and you were sitting on the roof deck, weren't you? Mr. McGillicuddy. I don't know why. It's a fictional character, I'm pretty sure. From where is that? I do not know. That's the problem. I've heard the name and I don't know where I've heard it. Mr. McGilda. Oh! What the frick? I think it's just a thing. Huh. Where? I am going down a weird rabbit hole that I don't want to go down right now. Huh. I have no idea. There's a Mr. McGillicuddy for Phineas and Ferb. Really? Mr. McGillicuddy is from Phineas and Ferb, so that's one thing I would know from. Taller than Ferb on height. Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole today. That seems like a bad idea. There's other stuff, but yeesh. It's also something from like around World War II. I guess it was a cartoon, 1945, or something like that. I don't know why the name pops up in my head, but I've heard it from somewhere. Phineas and Ferb would probably be one of them. I don't know where else I've heard it. But yeah. So let us continue forward. Yes, that's right. Sir, I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing that little gent next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about the new hat design, you see, and I was gazing absent-mindedly around. But then, I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right through out of his belly, that huge great knife. A grim sight indeed. Ah, that didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before.
That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGill is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. Faust? First. Oh, yes, sir? Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. The very one, sir. Is that?
Yes, counsel, this is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
That is the blade of considerable size, counsel.
It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Ugh, please. No more. Let me see. Who other well, MM, Mason. None of the other ones, except for if we're gonna say
Strongheart did it, but I don't think he did it. So, it could be Masons. Thrice Fired Mason is an M. I don't think it was Strongheart. The blade of considerable size, oh my gosh.
M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGill, possibly? Take your pick.
Or Mason.
It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
Oh, finally, you stood up. But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes. Like in Mason. Thank you! Weirdoski. He tripped.
Objection!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned.
Wow, okay, so I'm glad that we actually brought that up.
No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused.
Ugh. How do you know, though? Yeah, his objection was fancy. Yeah, he did good, even though it didn't work. He at least tried. It was the same mindset. I was like, Mason is an M name. I don't think that is a good thing, but you know, you could definitely, it would affect certain things, but if he was someone that had indestructible brick, I'd be surprised to say that he was poor.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
Has been entered in the court record. A largish knife that was found lodged into the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornament. Oh my gosh, ornamation. I'm gonna have their separate objects text. Yes, I'm pretty sure they do. Like, I'm pretty sure that the Payne family one has. You could. I'm like. Oh, ornament. Or I'm literally looking up so I can hear the word because I'm like. It's ornament. Ornamentation? Ornamentation? Ornamentation, I think, is how that is said. Ornamentation. Well, I did get it right. Haha! I was like, it's ornament. It took a minute and I was like, huh? I looked at the thing going like, this word. Suggests it's must be quite valuable. Best gaming moment. Where's the F? Oh. Could it also be a W? Could also be a W. Let me go here. An innate M, undeniably Mr. Magnus McGill's initial. Who has a W name? I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something. Oh, massive W. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome.
And it's beautifully gilded too. It must be very valuable, I should think. What is it?
Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. Magnus McGill, his evil twin brother. Because in this game, I don't think so either.
A W?
Yes, this is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. Was that a reference to the frickin' turnabout? Oh my gosh. Sorry, that's funny.
I'm afraid I don't know at all, but what I am sure of is that this is an M.
Oh, well that idea was quickly squashed. Wow, apparently me and Renosuke are on the same wavelength. That's kind of wild.
That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto?
Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades.
Oh,
you're holding Kazuma's sword, so I think you gotta get used to it.
Those don't seem like the swords of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
If I should be worried. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's more likely a W due to how cursive works. See? Dylan agrees with me. My gosh. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Oh! They just left it like this. Oh, that's so nice. Yes, Susato can be very blunt. Inside his body. Well, he doesn't know that. You know? And it's Kazuma's family heirloom, so you know. Ugh, that looks a lot like blood.
It surely is blood, the victims.
An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Yunosuke. You literally dealt with Professor Smith in his death, where his blood was red. Ryunosuke, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Oh, very observant, man. Is all over the place. I think that's an understatement. Oh my gosh.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. You're gonna make me smack my head against a wall, Ryunosuke.
Yes, I do understand.
Do you? Do you? Do you? I don't really know. Yeah, it'd be up and down, all around, and what is going on anymore? I'm just trying to check. It looks fine. It fit into the sheath properly. It all matches. It doesn't look broken. They say don't disappoint the ancestors when our ancestors were like this. Yep. I didn't see anything. Alright, let's look at this. Might as well. Kind of in the way, but... no, not too much in the way. I'm just gonna say, where the frick are the lights that you were talking about? So this is the exact one. I'm kind of like, okay. Have a great high bar to clear when his great-grandpa was saying stuff like this. Yep. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yeah, but they're in the back right here. They're not up here, so how would they see in? So, like, I'm only assuming there's lights inside.
Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin.
Okay, thank you for answering that, Susato. You were very helpful.
So I'm sure the witnesses could have been able to see quite clearly.
That's not good for us. Is there? Oh, there it is. There is a lamp right there. I see it. I'm just trying to see him, like... Can we open the door?
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
Ugh, the scene of a murder. It's horrible. Oh! Oh, why did you close the door? Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition.
Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe.
Stop time to examine things. Of course not. You would be doing this beforehand. Like, in real life, it would be done beforehand. Before you even got into court.
People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event.
Okay, well... What's the notice? Oh, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due 6 months... what? There's a lot focused... Huh? Oh, I guess up here. I guess I thought it would say something. It said notice, so I was like, huh. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victims, obviously.
Yes, and the seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab someone in full view of other passengers like that, I wonder? Maybe on purpose, if you were trying to get everyone's attention.
Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight.
Whatever which way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it?
Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck.
And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from the inside the cabin, at least. Well, they got that answer. It's definitely small. This seat has a handle, it seems. Oh! This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running.
Feeding tubs, tools to repair to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoe tools, shoe tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage. That's for sure.
Rather through a cactus. Who guys had a manager? Ah, you decided to? Huh. Boom, 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 boom. Alright.
Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway.
I thought there would be something important in here. I have found nothing. Like, literally nothing. Cycle, oh my god. Like, it can't be opened, so it can't be. So, how the frick did this happen? Because this is all stuff that he. Because I'm assuming if I click, it's all the same. I don't know. Who was it? Was it Harvey? There's nothing on the floor. Oh, I could close it. Well, that's nice. Reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. I don't know. Maybe you were going for a random idea. Out of pocket.
Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery.
Oh. Well, that makes sense. She's very popular.
It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here.
Women at kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Well, in the older times, yes.
See his handle. I'm trying to see, am I missing something? Are you just gonna say the same things? Okay. What is the point? Better than Haley, from what I've heard. Yeah, but that just depends on perspective. I wish... I can't... I don't see anything. Like... I would love a hint, because I'm like, I see nothing in here. So I guess we'll just come back later. Because I'm kind of going like, what the frick does it want? Because there's not, I can't find anything. So I guess we'll continue. Sorry for the slight. It's not completely off track. It was important to see what was going on. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption, I'm just trying to see.
Jury number 2, go on. Mr. McGill is a pillar of society and a gentleman. And a gentleman's word should be...
What the frick? Can I have another relationship? Technically, yes, but you can get caught and, they hate you. Sacrosanct?
However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait, what are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
Great! 3 out of the 6! Frick! No!
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all the traces of filth and grime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-reference all the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Wow! 4 out of the 6. Not again.
That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There's only 2 left.
We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at this moment is information. We're still very much in the dark.
Suppose we'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly.
Mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back.
But... Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. We don't have an ill intention with that information. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. So the screen bus stop. Alright, so when it happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And, so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to do the deed.
I don't like being pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here.
Ugh. What am I supposed to do and supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGill really innocent? Well, we don't have all the facts, so I'm assuming yes. If not, we just have to prove it. We'll just have to see. Or could it be?
Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case better than we do at the moment.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again, a little more carefully this time. Well, I didn't get to hear the last one. I stopped my bus and then I saw it too.
Hold it!
Alright, what exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker? And the other passenger had the knife in his hand, like this. The other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGill. And that plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What?
My lord, I wish to speak.
Yes, jury number 5, do I take it that you too? As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I say to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep an open mind a little long.
Giddy up now, Silver Blaze, the finish is in sight.
Great!
Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
Ugh, this is too unkind, sir.
Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please, old lady. Please. Please, by my saving grace.
Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dearie, what can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Please.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGill Park, it's called. That gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sweet jury number 6. You are a sweetheart. Thank you. You're our lifeline.
Zoe doing wonderful things for the city.
That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, may we go to McGill Public Library later and borrow some more books?
Oh boy. How many Londoners live with their heads in their clouds? Do you people not know?
Yeah, the granny to the rescue.
What kind of man Magnus McGill really is?
What kind of man he is?
The philanthropist Magnus McGill has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
What?
Stone the crows!
McGill lends money at extraordinary rates of interest so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard of any mention of that before.
Your facilities haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So this thought has not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own?
That is a good question.
What possible reason could this man have to make use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGill. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts.
Goodness gracious!
The brickmaker was astute. He had lost his house, he had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGill.
But why would he do that? He wouldn't get his money then. If the guy had not a penny to his name,
what would his life then be worth in the instance to someone who apparently is the creditor for the Mason's debt? That seems very counterintuitive to wanting to get your money back, but maybe I'm the crazy one? I don't believe it.
If I might add something briefly,
Mrs. Sato?
you claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGill, but where's the evidence to support your claim?
Go, Susato! Oh, and of course, he's got a drink too.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollowed chalice in the court of law. Oh, there it is! Lord Van Zeek's hallowed chalice!
How can this be considered acceptable? Well, look at the jury. I think him drinking is the least weirdest thing going on right now.
But I find myself in unparticularly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
As judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the deputy's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh,
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
Okay.
A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
Catalog of people who borrowed money from the defendant at a high rate of interest includes the victim who owed 20 jennies.
Ah, yes, 20 jennies. Guineas, excuse me. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all.
well, it would seem I've had the world rolled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, this is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little part, too. What a scoundrel.
Oh no. At least it's not your head on the line this time. That's not the point! We're gonna be sent back to Japan if we don't figure this out.
Still, maybe it's all for the best.
Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before...
I didn't stand for nonsense.
Are you freaking kidding me? I didn't even get to do anything. That was it. The last juror's decision. Please tell me you have something in that book that can help us.
According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the proceedings judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here.
The final verdict. It's over then.
Oh,
She found something.
there's a footnote, though.
A footnote.
However, the defense...
All six members of the jury are now in agreement in this case.
Speak up, Susato.
Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the law of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering the final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Susato, speak up. Miss Susato, just tell me one thing. The old lady said we were guilty, so all of the jury thinks we're guilty. Yes, we're there.
Oh, yes?
You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law, however, the defense... What did it say next?
Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the proceeding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summatation examination of the jurors at this point.
A summatation examination?
Objection!
A summatation examination? From which century has that tome you have been resurrected? Oh. Judging from the binding, I would say that the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text in British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced.
But if it's in the books, then it is still law. What do you mean? And what do you, oh my gosh. They're just around, goodness. He's not saying he's avoiding you, he's just not been talking in chat. That's a difference. Golly.
Okay. So, you're out of luck.
Oh,
Oh my god. What even is it, Mrs. Otto? The so-called summatation examination.
one moment, and I'll read about it.
You wouldn't demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails?
Yeah, that would be exhausting.
Typical Nipponese.
Alright, Mr. Naruto, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, you would be able to appeal to the members of the jury.
To what? To do what exactly?
Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summatation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision.
Van Zykes even has that frilly neck thing Miles has. You just noticed it now? It's one of the biggest things that decides how his hair and his face looks that connects to Edgeworth.
But that procedure has become something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it's rather fell out of use.
My gosh, Lou, relax. Here's the thing. You say it's become out of use, but if it's still in the books, it's still law. Because if you haven't taken it off the books, it's still a law. So in this instance, we use it to our advantage.
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
Well, good thing we are not even a regular British lawyer, so bring it.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
See? Say I'm right.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruto?
Hey, it's our only freaking lifeline. A summatation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Assert our right. Oh my gosh. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summatation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure.
Oh, she's very useful. Hey, she's got all the information. I don't really consider her annoying, but I guess I could kind of see it that way.
Summontation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Well, it's the law, buddy, so get over it.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summontation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Well, I'm not. There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You may all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. Nothing was mentioned of this before. Coffee grounds going. I don't really hold with all this justifying lark. Guess who almost got caught, huh? I'm guessing you? Maker Crowbubble. Oh my gosh. That seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, the summontation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. I told you. I told you. So be it then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGill, guilty of this most serious crime. Oh my gosh. If you're gonna argue in your Discord. Jurors' contentions. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it had to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fairness totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and colored all the statements, thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. That's the scoundrel stabbing the poor man on the floor. It beggars belief. Because it would be funny. I guess so. What the frick? Dylan, why are you going into this argument? Golly. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Wow, so you're like 3 months now? Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruto. We have to change the jury's mind. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Ah. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then... They've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it will recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Oh my gosh, guys, stop with whatever relationship debacle we're having in the chat, please. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruto. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work, then? Well, from what I can understand... You play the game? Well, it's my chat, so I have to pay attention to that. The
key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments.
What do you mean?
Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they're all complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in this courtroom together.
Yep, just like in the modern day. They don't typically know who they're with. It is your chat, but we are the chat. Oh my gosh.
And that's the way to break them down, you mean?
In another marriage arc, speaking of... I don't know at this point. I just want to focus back on the game, please. Let's stay on track.
Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. And if we can, then we contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other.
I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then. I guess so. No one's stopping you? What the frick? This is similar to our regular cross-examination.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right.
Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Oh my god.
Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear, concise rebuttal.
Oh boy! Well, I'm gonna save. Well, it says a runaway of the runaway room, so does that mean that this carriage is gonna run away? What's the current votes on the fire? All 6 on guilty. All 6 say guilty. We're trying to change their minds. Yes, my lord. Yes, already. The defense's rebuttal. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time. It has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory. It seems 4 passengers with fare totaling 20 pence. He struck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. We typed it claw and all the statements made thus far and drawn logical conclusion. You could trust the guild. Fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices more 4 pence for years. Yeah, is it doing that well right now? It's not even me! So, 4 people. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory. It seems 4 passengers with fare totaling 20 pence.
Hold it!
But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is?
I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts.
I see.
A single penny can mean the difference between life and death, after all, can't it?
That's a saying in your country. Hello, 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 hello.
My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Most of us in the service would swear to that, sir.
Does that bench really need any more polishing?
So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGold in the act, I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish.
Now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think.
Now would be a good time to listen carefully to the jurors' statements again, Mr. Naruto. If you notice any inconsistencies in what 2 different jurors are saying...
I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that. I'm assuming it's him. Let me just press, and then I'll put them against each other. That's how much it costs to take the omnibus?
That's right. As the guildmaster, I decided to set a policy for all drivers across the city.
So if it's 4 pence... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Would it only make it up to 16? How would it equal to 20 pence?
is voting guilty. I don't think that word existed back then. I'm just trying to think. It would only... Because there's 4 people. So how would it equal 20? If it's 4 pence each. Because I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're losing a bit more here. So we're missing a passenger.
What fair no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. We have to compete with the rising of the motor car, you see. Us coachmen have to make a stand together.
Motor cars, you say?
Yes, and this murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale.
We're losing a couple of people. Yeah. Because I'm like, we're missing one more person. Because it would have to be 5. Because if they're paying 4 pence per... Or they can't count. That is true.
It'll lead to a decline in passengers, mark my words. And it's all that rascal's fault. He has to pay.
Is that a crime of... Is it the crime or his buses he's more worried about?
Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. So if the driver says he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin.
So can I... There is no one else in the carriage at the time that... Mono, you haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. R.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
They do? Explain yourself, counsel!
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on Silverblade's mane and name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
Sure, juror number 5. Definitely not a biased opinion. Uh-huh. According to the group testimonies we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have a Oh, so he did say 20, so we're missing a person. Yeah, so there's a mysterious person missing. If he has 20 pence.
Quite right, I had the precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare of the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is a fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriage should be operated.
Either missing or the man overcharged. That is true. Or alas, it could be a man or a woman. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication...
Oh, it would be 16 pence.
Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact, or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
That would... I don't think that's how that works. Dylan, I don't think that's how that works. Because the ladies can ride the omnibus as well. Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Well, there's 3 ladies on the jury, so I'm assuming something along those lines.
This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
Figures your coachman claims will certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Oh boy, we're gonna have a fight. Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now... Well, are we talking in real time or just in the game? In the game, we have 3 of them. So 3 men and 3 women.
He's been drinking too much?
So, I have no idea. It might just be for a stylistic choice. I have no idea if they would be on the jury. The news was surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he let nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Aha! First one!
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo!
Yay! The scales have shifted! It says here that it was 1919 that they allowed women in the UK to be at the jury, but only in the UK. Well, I don't know when this takes place, so I have no idea.
Oh, this is infuriating.
Begging your pardon, sir, but I'm doing the same.
Yay! Yay! 2 of them! We've shifted it better! Yahoo! Yeah, it's gotta be. But I'm assuming this is just for stylistic choice. So that we have more variety in the jury instead of just all men.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exact standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruto, you did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue.
2 more. Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
Then that's where you must strike next.
So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Okay.
Well, the scales of the justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavily on the guilt side. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
If a motor carriage are just being accepted. Yeah, they're... like I said, I don't know if it is in complete accurate time base. But we know that, at least along the lines that there is, that motor vehicles are becoming a thing. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. I must say brazen, absolutely brazen. She, I don't think, has a problem. You're fine. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. I think it would be you and him. Because I'm trying to think. There's no one else in the carriage at the time, so it must have been him. I think. Those 2 statements are completely contradictory. So this is not even far off from Trials and Tribulations. Yeah, because they talked about... Because the guy of the carriage thing was talking about motor cars and how they would take over the business. I wonder if can I go that far back? Let's see. Let me look. Mm, 20 pens, quite ready, every size detail in front of me, jurors following, blah blah blah. And then add up. My wife for passengers, its multiplication, it'd be 16 exactly, it doesn't have the figures. Or precisely one person's fair, another dumb, another passenger, not good grades with a copyright. Blah blah blah, beg your pardon. Alright, then image, well, the book says here. Okay, I can't read it that far, but yeah. It's a lot more... Because cars are existing in some degree. I don't know how, but motorized carriages is their wording. So obviously we're getting into cars, like actual cars. So we're looking at maybe the cusp of like things going on. So yeah. We're kind of close to Phoenix, but not close enough. By the way, look at this lady. Oh, I guess I'm in the way, but look at this lady. Look at that face. Just completely so shocked. Maybe like 2 centuries ago? Yeah. Not too far off, actually. Which would make sense for his great-great-grandfather. Those two statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, Counsel, post haste!
Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half.
The same color as the mittens for your grandson? What is this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What, can't you see I'm busy here? Is the hair on the judge fake? The top part? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a toupee. Because he keeps adjusting it when he's shocked. How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Ah, want to test me, do you? It was like this. Ducked the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim baker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me? Is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I can understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now, don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What?
Bless my stitches, what a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh.
But why? Why the heck would they lie? I don't know that yet. But what I do know, the present judge, we have to be honest. Yes. Well, who knows? He could be related to the judge that we know. We don't have a clear understanding of who is who. Why are you saying sorry? But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me.
Yes, it got censored by YouTube if he said something. If he is, then the expressions between them definitely passed on for generations. Yeah.
I can't abide people telling lies.
3 on my side.
The scales.
I don't believe it. Wait.
Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. Hello, Matthew. I'm fine. I don't have a wife nor kids, but thank you. I'm doing good. My allergies have gotten better. The whole day off yesterday really helped. By the way, what proof are you saying that I have Eastern sorcery? I have many questions. No, I do not have a wife. She's a chat to me. Still single. Oh my gosh. And you guys aren't any different, so shush. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all of this? That we know of. Answer me this, Dark Jinx.
Huh? Me?
I know, but it's just like, what do you mean? What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of the events?
It means that someone's lying. What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus. Oh my gosh. You guys in this, it just comes right back to that again, doesn't it? And this young dandy saw him do it. Now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and the Shylock stabbed him again. Probable doubt, you know the entire point of the justice system?
Yeah, but this is back in the olden days, so who knows?
What goes around comes around, oh my gosh. And this old lady saw him do it. Well, what is to say it didn't happen like that, What are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you.
Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you.
They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Talking in the court case?
You missed a lot of context. We're doing an examination.
What is the frickin' wording again?
Examination? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime?
It's possible.
Examination.
He just fixes his badges and stuff. I'm used to you not having context.
Oh, pretty much, the jurors were saying that our client's guilty and we're using examination to continue the trial by showing the inconsistencies.
Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you Dark Jinx? Come on, out with it. So always have different stories.
Yeah, but in this instance, the witnesses were in the same place on a carriage, so it'd be weird to have completely different stories. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As a foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. You say that's out of the question. Show me some proof.
Looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by... I'm assuming the carriage, but you know...
Witnesses that all witness a bank robbery can and generally do have different stories.
Yeah, but in the game, you can't exactly have completely different stories or nothing is going to get done.
Would it be this? It's always been magic.
Take that!
This is a clear piece of evidence. Well, Mr. Foreman? You know what they say about me, young man? They say I've got no power of persuasion. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. But no one will need to persuade me about this. Okay. And I say about your game logic?
Well, how would I play a game then? Yes, because I finally got the router, so everything works.
What the frick would this even be?
This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of the London Century.
Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not like as though we don't have anything of London's gentry personality, is it? Apart from a great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I assure you will not find Mr. Sloan's name inside.
If I didn't say anything, we would probably watch a PowerPoint presentation. Well, more in the pretty much the only reason I discovered it was because you talked about how to reset an Ethernet cable. So, thank you, Natural, for that. Yeah, none, because I got a router with an Ethernet, with my Ethernet cable connected, so everything works now. Well, let's see what we find. Yes, I did. Oh my gosh, Dylan, you're just being funny, golly. And anyway, there's always going to be slight delay between like what something chats and what you actually see because it has to go through YouTube to where you are from where I am. So, you know.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentleman names, isn't it?
No, we're all the same person. My gosh. I don't think so. I think you guys would go crazy if you were all the same person. Well, I suppose they probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Oh, goodness.
What is it? It just makes no sense. Yep. Or did he did as well and vice versa? Okay, then.
Look at this. Do you see the name here?
Bruce Fairplay. Oh, so he owes McGold some money too. Wow. I'm gonna be honest. That was a shocker. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? He bought her 20 guineas, didn't he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information.
The details of the debtor's ledger has been updated in the court record. Loot where? Okay. Up.
Take that!
Well, that's something. Wonder. My gosh. Well, I got more evidence, but it's not what I need. Golly. Like, what is... My gosh, you guys see freaking gold and you guys go into the pirate mode. My gosh. Like, why is that the first thing that you guys go to, is pirate mode? Oh, boy. Okay, come on. Okay, we got that upgraded. Updated. Not upgraded. Updated. Yeah, there's nothing else. It's never what you need. Won't you ever be satisfied? I don't think recess exists in this era. Or maybe it does. We don't know. It's because we want... It's gold. Okay, guys. So it's not what we need. I guess the abdomen? Maybe this.
Take that!
Nope, it's not it either. I thought, oh, maybe because they talked about the stabbing. Well, I think a lot of humans like money. I should move over properly. What the frick? Died due to resulting from trauma. An abdomen while journeying in hibiscus. My leprechaun, what the frick? Why is he missing a button? I just realized this now. Why is he missing a button? I'm literally gonna be doing random objects. There's gotta be something. Because he's poor. Well, it's weird that the other ones have the same buttons, though. Am I really gonna have to do this now? My gosh. A clue, or is it because he's poor? We have no idea. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of
Grumbling now?
No, by the way, is Mr. McGill right-handed?
Yes, I believe so. He was toying with this coin in his right hand a little earlier.
Okay, thank you for paying attention to that, Susato, thank you. Pity. If only he had been left-handed.
I think blood in either glove would have been fairly incriminating, really.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things that gets put into context for a lot of things. Because it matters a lot. Because a lot of humans are right-handed. And when it's left-handed, things go like, wait. Someone who's right-handed would not hold it this way. So then, you know, if the suspects get small, if that makes sense. Am I gonna have to be, like, checking this gosh darn thing again? Blah, blah, blah. We looked at this. I love I'm literally going through this entire thing to be like, can you give me answers? Okay, what does this tell me? Anything? Blood, victims, blah, blah, blah. Nothing else. There's nothing else, because we got that. What circumstantial evidence means? Yes, I do. It's based on... It's based on certain things connecting together that lead to suspicion. I'm trying to figure something out. If you told me it's a freaking knife, I swear.
Take that!
Nope. I'm literally going to have to go through everything and go, what the frick? I don't get it. I got the upgraded stuff that I thought, oh, maybe that's the answer to everything. And it's out of question that the two is saw two different moments of the same crime as proven by... this?
Take that!
Okay. Alright. Victim autopsy report. Okay. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means the witnesses couldn't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. I can see defeat. Oh. I'll take that. I guess I got 4 out of the 6. Okay. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty.
We've done it, Mr. Naruto. We've won!
What are you playing at, you dandy fool? It's a thing on the back that flips between the thing. So, it's like a banner, so it flips. Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. We had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. What the frick? Please tell me he's a barber. I don't think we would want him as a barber. Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. I guess. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate. The knife looking actually be awesome, not efficient or friendly, but cool looking. And the trial must continue.
He's still licking the knife. Why?
I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth.
And every day she butchers said a word. Yep, it happens. Until you learn. What is with the amino... ear cough? I have allergies. If that's what you mean.
So, Lord von Sheeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Oh my gosh, now you're making puns on my allergies. Allergies? Goodness. And use a jiggly, which would be super cool with a cute wig and everything. Yes, a Jigglypuff would be very cute as a judge. Yes. Yes, I can. It can cause coughing, sneezing, sore throat.
Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hollowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord von Sheeks!
Is it cold in here or is it just me? Dracula confirmed, I guess.
As your adequated tone no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summatation examination.
Noblest.
Yeah.
So I honored a deadly silence and listened to the charade. It seemed to overestimate the intelligence of the jury.
Are you calling them stupid? What the frick?
Well, no matter. There's nothing so hard to prove as self-evident truth, it would seem. No, as why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence at all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle.
Oh, the cape's off.
Bring forth the witnesses once more.
Okay, someone's getting serious.
Witnesses, I trust you heard the summatation examination we have here just had to endure.
Yes, sir, that I did, sir.
Of course, I heard it. Oh, yes, sir. I heard it.
You, sir,
Excuse me.
you, sir, on the end. The coachman, I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oyster mio, oysters mio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summatation examination.
Golly. Holy tamales. Various misgivings. Hang on.
I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it, but,
Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled us on the ferry, did he? Then I saw that blue curling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw McGill stab that man. Everything I said before stands.
oh yes, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by learned Easter friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the countenance sly little Cosenge. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you have been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. I've been dishonest, coachman. I'm just so sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild!
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I can't make the result come out differently.
No, that figures. Basic math. In that hat, maybe. Maybe.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgiving has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. You've already had the pleasure of a protracted examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely. He just went, yep. And what of it? That was beautiful. That was absolutely priceless. I love it. Absolutely priceless. I only cared for passengers, I swear, but... Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. If fellows on the ferry did and I saw the bug inside as well, it's all too much. I tell you, I saw my guild stabbing that man, everything I said before stands. I love the varieties of hats. Yep. Tells you a lot of personality.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGill, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him?
That's what I saw, isn't it?
It's bothering me. It was bothering me before this was. Quote of the day. A quote of the day. Apparently, an official law in Old British law is considered a parlor trick. But at the end of the day, if the parlor trick is part of the law, it is allowed. There you go. For a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been too much talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet, 0 evidence. Then what are we wasting time for, eh? It's black and white, the man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. What does that mean? I tell you I saw stabbing that man, everything I said before stands. Why does it jive with you? Like, I know this is important, but I don't know if that will get me further than I need, so I guess we'll just keep... I guess we'll just press a little more. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. What the frick?
I suppose. I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck.
Oh, I expect that was me, sir.
I was turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The chips had been on the floor, and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow there, the handle was famous man, yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all?
I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Yeah, Hi, you!
Excuse me.
Why are you biting your cane? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking.
He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Not a chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on top of the omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a bowl of rat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, alright. I'll tell you just how grim it was.
Okay, progression.
Do you think I'd forget the sight of the nose of the blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Huh?
Hold it!
What? Blood-soaked?
Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
His dying moments compared to all the judges we've had. I'm trying to make him sound different, but I guess I could just literally do a regular judge voice, you know? Which is literally just my regular voice. Slightly pitched down. And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight?
Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view.
Do as you wished.
And there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw.
You sound old. I like the voice, well thank you.
It's because I'm somehow able to do this voice really, really well. I don't know why, but I can.
What anime have you been a VA in? None. But thank you. Thank you.
I can do a really old voice really well.
I don't know why. I can also do Miss Oldbag, because, for some reason I can do old people voices really well.
Don't know. This banker's latest statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it.
When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruto, that's when you should have a good look through the court record.
That's because you're 801. Yes. You guys are never gonna make that go away, aren't you? Not long ago, the trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow we managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. Who would you like to voice? I don't know. I don't really know. Probably a feminine, like a female character would be nice. Because I cannot do low-pitched voices, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe even like a little kid would be a little bit easier to do. Who knows? I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light.
If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, The danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful as they did before.
Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering new information.
Yes, you're so right.
I need to pay careful attention here. Pay careful attention here. I don't even want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses.
Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as the reason.
I tell you, I saw stabbing that man, everything said before stands. Do you think I'd forget the sight? Are you talking to me? Or are you talking elsewhere? Does this work? Okay. Blood-soaked. Hands?
Well, I admit that soak might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them.
And then it would be so easy to voice, my gosh.
Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGill, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove.
Ugh.
In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Yeah. But, no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were clear about it. You said,
It was both hands.
gosh. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You said you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Ugh,
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was a both hands, it was one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
Yeah, allegedly. No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Why? I'm a city baker, for Pete's sake. Pity's sake, my word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of a society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case?
Mr. Naruto, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in the straw completely.
Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. There is evidence. I have it. My lord,
Yes, counsel?
the defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay has reasons to lie in his testimony.
Ugh. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Badoo!
Take that!
Take that! This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGill.
Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion.
The point is, among the names of the debtors in your name is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt.
According to the ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not a considerable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGill were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sent to the capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? That cane is not going to exist anymore. He keeps chewing on it.
Order, order, order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord.
Yeah, that's it.
Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir.
Yes, I guess so.
Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrusted a knife into the victim?
Well, we don't know if he's the one who committed murder, but him lying probably is something he didn't want to owe someone money. Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch? A pinch? Are you kidding me? You said, oh, he was covered in blood, blah, 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 blah. But isn't Mr. Fairplay wealthy? He's a banker. We don't know if he's wealthy. He might just have... maybe he has a gambling problem. We have no idea.
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood in Mr. McGold's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. Yeah, I'm assuming... before all the inflation... well, yeah. Because certain things back then are a lot... like, things that we consider small was giant money to them, so... the point is, he's a banker and he owes someone. He probably doesn't like having to be reminded that he owes someone money as a banker.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens.
Seeing what?
Blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one.
Banker's the biggest man you could have. Yeah. What? What? Huh?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yours.
Mr. Naruto, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted significantly at last.
My gosh. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Or make things worse. Yes, my voice is fine. I have tons of water, don't worry. Why do you think I pause? I take drinks of water. Well, I'm glad that you finished your cooking, Matthew. What the witnesses really saw.
There was blood on both of the assailants. I sincerely, distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment of the stabbing transpired, if that matters. Well, yes, it can sound that way, because that's just kind of how it happens.
Point is, I'll probably stop that for the rest of the day. Oh. Well, I hope you enjoy it.
I remember seeing that knife, and, well, I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't really see anything myself, no, not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage or we have all seen. Holy moly. Well, lo and behold. In truth of fact, not one of you was the witness to the critical moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. Grr, that much incriminating evidence is tantamount to say we saw the man do it. Tantamount? That's not really what testimony's about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there is no substantial, no significant change in the facts of the case.
There's barely any blood on the seats. What do you mean there's so much blood?
Very well, your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. There's blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. Well, we're now at another point where I don't know what to do. Alright. Well, we'll just find out. There was blood on both the hands, I distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands? Yes, sir, I mean, I know what you're going to say.
Only one of Mr. McGill's gloves has any sign of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I can remember, sir, when I was looking down and saw Mr. McGill sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly.
Oh yeah, he did say he was trying to help the dude. I just remembered him saying that. Is like, oh yeah, he did. Mr. Matthew McGold said that he was helping the dude. Omnibus, why not just bring the body at this point? I don't know. It's true that the dark colored stains on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGill's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. Supposedly sacred, yeah. And the fact remains I can't have been anyone else inside that carriage or we would have seen. That's true. And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus?
That's right, it was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Nothing's sacred anymore. Goodness.
Oh yes, I remember, I was shivering, it was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I was tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked. That's right, it was a public service bus for pity's sake, but that's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience.
I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else in that cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say.
Not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay.
You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
What?
By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. That at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh.
Very well, I'll uphold the prosecution's demand. You identify the area on this cross-sectional path of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? Right here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is this I've drawn here. Oh. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Uh-huh.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there.
Stop drawing over the pictures. Hey, he's explaining.
You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity.
I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruto?
Can I? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? Do I have an inkling? Do I? I understand, my lord. Defense would like to put forward a name.
You are a fool. The response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned.
Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn this trial in my favor. On the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus that was obscured from the view was... That frickin' face. A milliner who witnessed the incident, 2134. I don't know. Because they saw him stab him, allegedly. I don't know. I have no freaking idea who this is going to be. Or if I picked the right decision. It has to be a W name. Well, they're not exactly W names. It was Sasato. Yes, it was Sasato this whole time. Oh. Well, these two are up there, so it's not a possibility, and it's not him. So it's gotta be, it's a 50-50 between these two.
And how is it doesn't have to be a W name. We don't even know the last names of all of these things. Golly. Shameful? What do you mean shameful? I'm not going through all the dialogue again. Oh my gosh, you just keep talking. Oh! Alright. Because knife.
Take that!
Okay. Why is he drinking on the job? I don't know. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGild. Mr. McGild? What are you talking about, counsel? What in the name of the That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Okay. If I may desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see that they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Lil shush. What the frick?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side.
My goodness, you went like 0 to 100, like, golly.
Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact that it was the very premise on which this case was built on.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGild, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the glowy remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimonies remain unchanged.
Exactly, they both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct and their testimonies reveal the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary!
Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
No, they didn't. They assumed it was the accused. The wig? Does it just make you laugh? Is that what it is? But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. We're proving that there was a third person in the carriage, besides Mr. McGully and the victim.
Yes. The tops of their hats were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice these things, sir.
And what particular styles of hats did the two gentlemen spot, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter?
Style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be sure?
Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. Gold, would have undoubtedly have offered to dispose the fact.
Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled.
Oh, yeah.
He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGold would have been unaware of it. Order? There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring in the accused, Mr. Gold, to the stand. Well, what do you say, counsel? Prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds?
That's what he said. He said he was asleep during this thing. But then the question becomes, how did he not hear?
But, as a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely?
Madness McGill is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
They threw the knife through the window? The windows aren't broken!
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGill to testify or not? Demand his testimony. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. We're raising our hand again. The defense would like to call Mr. McGill to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury.
Oh, yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGill has to say.
But they're not open. It was a winter night at 10 to 11 p.m.
Get the man out of here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patrons of my favorite little park has to say, oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Sorry. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Okay. She's so funny. Yes, she is. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Yep. Let's proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGill, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
Be sure I have, me lord.
Looks so out of place.
Yes, he does. Alright. Well, we're gonna end here for the night, because I do want to save my voice for my work, so yeah. His design is so complex. It is. It is. Obviously, next time we're gonna hear from Mr. McGill about what he was doing. Yes, it's a cliffhanger. I'm sorry. It's not like I purposely do this, but hey, it took us a while to get where we needed to be. But hey, it was our first stream with no hiccups. Yay! So, thank you, and I'll get some good rest, so thank you for watching the stream, and I will see you next time. Bye!